Right now, we're in the center of Shaw at the historic Howard Theatre, and the DC area was like the center of black culture and black music throughout the 20th century. The Howard Theatre was the first black-managed theatre. It was called the People's Theatre. It was for the people of the Shaw District, and it predated the Apollo Theatre by a good 5 years. In fact, some people say it was the model for the Apollo Theatre. But initially, unlike the Howard, the Apollo Theatre was a whites-only theatre until the 1930s, whereas this was where the burgeoning of black musical culture really happened. The music that was playing here at the Howard Theatre reflected the popular music of the day. The big bands were here, Count Basie was here, Duke Ellington was here. But after the war, when that started to fade, this became a rhythm and blues time. Rhythm and blues then changed in the 60s into soul music. And of course, DC had a major role in soul music. It was the home of Marvin Gaye, who grew up in Southeast DC. But things changed. As we got into the 60s with the death of Martin Luther King, this area was so impacted by the 1968 riots. It was 7 days of rioting, 7 days of fires. And after that, this area experienced a flight. People moved out. This wasn't an area where people felt safe to live. And that was again reflected in the music of DC, because it was in the 70s that the go-go music really started to take a hold as part of DC's musical history. That was the time when Chuck Brown and the bands like Trouble Funk were talking about the urban decay, talking about the challenges they were facing. But it was not a miserable music. It was a music which was celebrating life, as well as recognizing the challenges of life.
Theaters like the Howard and Lincoln were the launching points for many musicians, and also comedians, such as Dick Gregory in the 1950s.
We're here at the iconic Ben's Chili Bowl in the Ben's Chili Bowl Alley. It's almost a destination on its own. Here since 1958. This mural, about 3 years old, it was crowdsourced. They reached out to Washingtonians, and they let the people decide who were on the wall. So these are, right here behind us, are the people's champions. And I think the reason the artists set aside Dave Chappelle and Dick Gregory, because they were genre shatterers. My father, other than being an amazing dad, was the first to take topical news and turn it into comedy. My dad was the highest paid entertainer in the country, not black entertainer, broad spectrum, and he left it all. He left it all to join Dr. King and be out there as a nonviolent civil rights advocate. DC and Shaw more specifically was, this was my summer backyard. Like little ducklings, we'd follow our parents all over the city, just being activists. Shaw historically has done a great job with respecting its history. You still have Lee's Florist, Ben's Chili Bowl, Industrial Bank with their iconic clock tower, and then right next to it you have a very contemporary condominium development. And it's done in a way that it doesn't feel forced. Shaw's just it's a unique place. The diversity here is organic, it's real.